Time, so we go.
Showtime.
Hello, hello, hello. Nobody's look at, so let's see what's happened. We will wait a little bit, the people come in, and then it will. Everything is recorded, so hello, everybody's coming. Hello, everybody. We are live from. Let's see if I can set that right now. So everybody, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. We're waiting a little bit. People, everybody's here. I will introduce all the previous Tuesday. We will make a contest today. You have the question yesterday on the live. You have the question on the Facebook page of Aquarium Partner and V2O Food. So we will put the question in a few seconds. Hello, everybody's come in. We are live on YouTube and we are live on V2O Facebook page. Thank you for coming. I will going live with Chris Turk, the CEO and the founder of V2O Foods. Hello, Chris Turk. And we will go with Janet, my teammate, and sales reps, my best sales reps. So let's begin. Chris, maybe you can introduce yourself and show what you are and what you do. So I put you in front. So you are live. Okay. Let's go.
All right. Well, first, I want to show my new beard. It's the first time in my life I've ever decided to do this.
Oh, whoa.
But since I'm locked down, because I'm locked down in quarantine.
You're locked down in quarantine, so
it's coming on strong. Okay, so I am actually technically vice president of sales and marketing and new product development for V2O, and formerly I was the owner and founder of H2O Life, which that company I actually started in 1982, just after. No, I take that back. That was started in about 1999, 2000, and prior to that, I was the owner and founder of Ocean Nutrition. So
that there way.
So yeah. Then so now with V2O Foods, it's pretty much the same company as H2O Life Foods was, and very much the same product and same look. We changed up the H2O for V2O because it was more specific and something we could copyright because the H2O is used by everybody and we didn't want the confusion. So here we are, and we've been doing this as V2O now for 9 or 10 years. And our focus is frozen foods, and a lot of them. We have more than anybody else on the market when it comes to variety, and it's mostly because of my history is so long in this business, and I've discovered new things, and I've discovered new sources of products from different countries. So I always get new ideas, and I can't stop myself from making new things. So that's what we're all about, is being creative and making foods not only for the broad range to cover all the bases of nutrition, but also specific foods for specific fish. So we want to fill every niche, or every fish has its niche, and in many specific cases, we want to make sure certain fish get what they need. So we have a number of specific intention foods like that. So now we also, are by far our largest assortment and offering to the public is frozen. We probably have 40 or 50 different products, but we also have started in with some dry foods. We're doing some soft and moist pellet foods, and we're starting to do some special flake foods now. And we have some feeding tools, and there you go. So we welcome. We have a new opportunity here geographically in the U.S. Yes. Because now we started partnering with our friends at Aquariumpartners, and they are physically located in the
South Carolina.
Yeah, Columbia, South Carolina. So they can ship by 2 days, which for frozen food, we need to ship within a 2-day range. We add dry ice, and even in the summertime, we can do 2 days with no melting. So we're so happy to have that logistics problem taken care of, because from Columbia, Aquariumpartners can ship to just about anywhere in the Midwest and East Coast within that 2-day range.
Yes, I think we go from Minnesota to Louisiana. So it's a range like this and go all the East Coast. Around in 2 days, and maybe we can go also for something like overnight. So a very good pricing. Interesting shipping cost. So that's
the biggest, we have distributors of our foods in on the West Coast, in Texas, and South Florida.
Yes.
But in much of this other territory, we don't have distributors. So our goal is to sell directly to stores within this 2-day range, and it's a great program that we're doing, and we have worked out all the freight cost and the cost of insulated boxes and dry ice, and we can get the product to stores no problem.
That's perfect. That's very perfect. So yeah, we talking about the shipping. The shipping is the best thing.
I'm having audio problem.
Francois, we lost you.
You lost me?
Oh, now you're back. I'm
back. Okay. So I said the shipping is the most important thing. So be able to ship in 2 days and maybe 1 day. Almost all the East Coast is the most important fight on this project, and it's why we came in South Carolina. We are in the middle of the East Coast, and most of the states it's about 24 hours. So that's the most important thing. So
so Chris, sure. Can you tell us why your foods are so good? I hesitate to say, because everybody's got a favorite food, but there's some specific things that V2O has that no other food or lines of food have. And maybe you can talk specifically about some of those.
About the specific products, or more the ingredients?
Talk about specific products and some of the ingredients.
Okay. Well, for example, we have a product we call Arctic Easy Pods. And these are the wonderful orange Calanus copepods that are, there we go. They're so loaded with carotenoid pigments and lots of omega-3 fatty acids. And it's if you recall, there was a product on the market called Cyclopes, which was very popular, which was also a very orange copepod, and then it kind of went away. So this one is a great replacement. It's a little bit bigger. The copepod itself is a slightly larger animal, but it's still loaded with the astaxanthin and carotenoid pigments. And
so what is, Chris, what do those do for the fish?
Well, that's all about color. Like the carotenoids and the astaxanthin, which is one of them, which is more specifically a carotenoid pigment, but that's a natural. That's a really natural pigment that occurs in the shells of these copepods that the easy pods, and it also occurs in the shell of krill and almost every other small crustacean. So, and it's what turns like when you're cooking your shrimp and they turn pink, that's because of the pigment in the shell. But the pigments naturally give the color to the fish themselves. So that's what we're always looking for. Everybody, loves their fish, and they love the bright colors that they carry. And when they come in so brightly colored, we want them to stay that way. And we've been through many years when it was very difficult to do, but now now we can do it. So that's one product, and I don't want to bear with you with too many products at once, but there's another one we call Reef Caviar, which is another specific interesting product that it's fish egg. And it's eggs of a fish called capelin. Like the genus is capelin, and these eggs are so fresh, and that's why we love this product, because these fish happen to come from Iceland, and it's actually part of the entire sushi market. This is where when you go to a sushi bar, and you see the little tiny orange eggs, and those or sometimes they're even bright green, and those are actually the same. Those are capelin eggs, but those have, so there's a huge industry in Iceland collecting these eggs during the breeding season, which is in early March, like late February, March, and the water's freezing cold. Extremely clear because it's out in the middle of the Atlantic, in the middle of nowhere in Iceland, and so the egg is so fresh, and we have managed to get our part taken away before they go into processing. So we get very fresh eggs, and they're not orange or dyed bright green. They're natural pale yellow color, and they're all loose. They're not like stuck in an ovary, where it's a mess. These eggs are all loose and individual, so that when you feed them, they immediately come apart, and you have individual eggs floating around the tank.
I can tell you that something that I think is really impressive about this product is when you use it, when you put it into your tank, there's no cloudiness. You don't get any kind of oil slick on top of it. You don't have to rinse this product. It's a whole complete egg. So you're not just getting the outer shell or pieces of it. This is an awesome product for mandarin gobies, any of those smallmouth blennies, people that have nano tanks, LPS, SPS, eat them. Particularly acans and blastos really like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Absolutely. We hear that a lot.
Yeah, and we try some customers and using this kind of feeders to feed all the target feeding for corals with the Reef Caviar, and we have a lot of great feedback with it. So
these coral feeders are really popular, and we've had a great demand for them. They're very simple, but the bulb itself is made in the USA, and it's the most expensive part of the coral feeder, but they are very durable. They last forever, and we have what we call a fine point and a wide point.
try to show
There we
that
go.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. So the wider point ones we do when you for feeding, larger critters like brine shrimp or mysis, and then the fine point, of course, is for very small foods like phytoplankton, zooplankton, oyster eggs, something very tiny.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting product. And when you use the reef caviar directly on your tank, it's very clear, no cloudy inside the water. And yeah, the mandarin and all the big LPS grow and catch all these products.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have a lot of mixed type foods also, which has always been our specialty since the old days. Like when I was doing the Ocean Nutrition Company, we started with products called Formula 1 and Formula 2, and we had
Fish and Reef 2.
Now it's called Fish and Reef 1 and Fish and Reef 2. So the new products, the new generation of products are actually much better. I mean, I've learned a lot through the years, and again, new sources from new places. So we've been able to improve these foods, and we use. We're in the old days we used a gelatin binder, which is really not. I mean, it worked good. It worked well for in terms of flavor. Just seemed to like it, but it wasn't the kind of nutrition the ideal nutrition that we wanted. And so now we're doing an alginate binder. So the alginate is, first of all, it's made from algae, from seaweed or kelp. And secondly, you use a tiny amount of it. So the idea is to just barely hold everything together. So we call it a gel binder, but it doesn't result in a gel. It's certainly
so
not.
It's not like a Jello shot, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not like the former days in Ocean Nutrition. I think after I left, actually, they had a period of time when the gel was too strong. It was like a piece of rubber. It's like a little rubber ball, and people didn't like it, and the fish couldn't eat it, and it kind of, unless it was a large fish. So it kind of picked up a bad name. So these days, when you say gel, a lot of people turn away from it, have the wrong impression. So this gel is very much different and just enough to hold the ingredients together, and it's soft. It's kind of a soft network that holds, that binds it.
That's very interesting. And some kind of product, I like it so much because it's very different from what I saw in all this brand. The product like you use, and like Reef Caviar you said, and the AZ pod is very different from everybody's. That's sure nobody has it, but I like also this kind of product. The fresh krill, I like it's very because it's big, it's very kind, and it's very interesting. Maybe I'll make some grill and take it some sushi and make it, because it's very interesting. And another product very interesting I use for big fish and fish only is the clams. I love this one. It's kind of my favorite. For sure, it's not reef related, but more big fish. But I'm sure you can feed some kind of angelfish or copper band. Very delicate.
Yeah, it's really natural. It's a natural way for fish to eat.
It's
and that's kind of what we have always tried to do, is do the natural thing. And because I grew up in South Florida, with reefs at the end of my street, and spent most of my life underwater. So I always had the idea, we got to make this natural. So these the clams are they become like a little feeding station. The clam sits there, and the meat is stuck to it. and the fish will just come over and pick at it, and it stays. They'll hover around because it's like their feeding station. So they'll pick on it until it's all gone. And the meat is all uncooked. It's raw, so it's natural tasting and natural nutrition. And the krill that you showed, the IQF krill, IQF meaning individually quick frozen. So that is also a raw product, and if anything, that's how it stands out away from other brands, because pretty much every other brand of krill, a frozen krill on the market, or freeze dried for that matter, but those are cooked. They're blanched, which means cooked for a short period of time. So that's why they're so orange, just like your shrimp. When you cook your shrimp or lobster, it turns orange. So you'll see that ours are very pinkish, which is a natural color, and they're raw, and so they're juicier. I wouldn't say they're super clean because there's a lot of juices that come with it, but the natural flavor is there, the natural nutrition is there, and again, the pigments in the shell is just it's a superior product when it comes to krill. And also their IQF, which is basically a convenience thing. Again, means individually quick frozen. So once you break the seal and break the vacuum, then you have like a bag of French fries. Everything's individual.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it, and exactly what I want. And if I have a big tank with big fish and everything, it's exactly where I want to go. And all this kind of product is what everybody wants for his fish. So it's like dog and cats product, and you don't want to give a shit to people. So yeah, that's very interesting to have the natural products.
Yes.
I really think that's a trend, that we're going back to natural products. And Chris, you've been here for the duration. You've been in the frozen food business. What do you think has been the biggest change in the last 20 years? Or maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm dating you. But
40,
you've been
more like 40 years
for a while.
I mean, the change in foods, it hasn't been all that dramatic, because we were making these types of foods way back in the day with Ocean Nutrition, but they've evolved, and we've made them better, and we've made them with more variety, and then other companies have come into the picture.
So maybe availability of different types of foods that weren't available before, like the reef caviar. 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, we didn't even have reef caviar. Or oyster eggs. That's something that maybe some of the public aquarium guys were doing because they had access to it, but it's not been something that's been generally available.
I mean, with the advent of the live reefs, first the live rock, and then we went evolved into more of the soft corals, leather type corals, and mushrooms, and then once we got into the hard corals, I mean, the explosion has been unbelievable. What you see today in reef tanks is just a whole other world from what we had 20 years ago. So, and that has caused the entire industry to evolve. But so I would say a lot of these foods have come along, with that, and it's just a higher demand for perfection, really, for something. I mean, people are always demanding higher quality. They demand more because they have these, phenomenal reef tanks, and the variety of corals and fish that they can keep is unbelievable, and and the healthiness, the condition of the fish themselves, I think is probably, has it come a long way, advanced a long way, because when you have a live reef tank, you have fish that, not only do they eat what, we add to the tank to feed them, but they also nibble all day long on the live rock and on the corals, and they have a much more natural environment. So, their condition is, remarkably better than it was 20 years ago.
Perfect. I try to share a lot of comment because I have few page here and a lot of people on different way and different page. So I will just want to push people to join us on the V2O Facebook page so I can see the comment and on top. So please join us on Facebook V2O Aquarium Food so you can see and I can see your comment, or go on the YouTube channel for Aquarium Partners so you can put your question, you can put your answer on the trivia we do after, and you can win maybe a year worth of frozen food and food for your aquarium. So just a reminder, go on the Facebook page V2O Aquarium Food so I can see everything and I can share your comments. So sorry for interrupting you, but it was a lot of people looking at the live from everywhere. So I just want to reorganize the traffic. So let's go.
Good. Very good. Okay. By the way, my screen, is in front of me. Looking at you guys, you're like right there in front of me. But to look at the camera, I have to look up. So
that's okay.
Sometimes I can't help looking at you and
what's happened. Okay.
We get used to it. We get used to it.
Yeah, don't worry. So yeah, I just, because I have few people look at the from everywhere, and I try to around the people from the lives and see everything. So don't worry, it's okay. We are okay.
So Chris, I have a question. In our product lineup, we have oyster eggs and rotifers, along with the reef caviar, but certainly they're much smaller. And I think that this should play a really big part on anyone that's like breeding clownfish or starting out doing some aquaculture. Can you maybe shed a little bit of light on that?
Okay, well, yeah, those two products that you mentioned, the oyster eggs and the rotifers, those are the tiniest products that we make, the tiniest zooplankton. So, of course, we also offer phytoplankton in some products as well. But as a general rule of measurement, like the rotifers are approximately 100 microns to 200 microns. And to give you an idea, for people that are not familiar with microns, they're so 1,000 microns would be 1 millimeter. So 100 microns is 1/10 of a millimeter. So it's pretty tiny. And you're just for reference, the phytoplankton, they're way down and more in the range of 5 to 10, 15 microns maybe. So, those cells are much, much smaller. But so the zooplankton start around 100 microns. And so you have your rotifers. Oyster eggs, I would say, are pretty much in that same range of size. And those two items are really important, especially for SPS corals. And not so much like the real meat eaters, the LPS, but more for SPS, and also for filter feeders that eat a very very fine, very small type of food. So like flame scallops or tridacna clams, bivalves in general, and other.
Gorgonians?
Pardon?
Gorgonians?
Yeah, especially some of the fine gorgonians and
the feather dusters.
Yeah, anything like that, that filters.
Sponges, maybe.
Filter. And sponges sponges, absolutely. That's important because, sponges are weird, and they actually pump water through themselves and filter out, food. So, yes, all of those filter feeders. And the next, those two products are in that size category. The next size up is more like, let's say 400, 500 microns is like a baby brine shrimp, Artemia. And then there's a Cyclops we sell, which is like the Arctic Easy Pods. The Cyclops is a copepod, and it's normally planktonic, it's a zooplankton. And they are smaller than, the animal itself is smaller than the Calanus Arctic Easy Pods. So they're nice. I mean, they're a size range for also for SPS corals and some of the other things I mentioned. They're also good for baby or maybe post-larval fish if you're raising clownfish or some other fish. Now, but back in the day, I had the luck and the good fortune to work for Martin Moe, who's really started raising. He was the first really commercial breeder of anemone fish, clownfish, and I worked for him in Florida back in 74, 75. So, and I did that for many years, but back in those days, we only used live. Like we used live rotifers. The primary product for starting the larvae, first food was live rotifers. So today, if you want to use frozen rotifers, it can be done. It's not as ideal as having live. Because the live critters actually swim around and they attract the larvae. But nevertheless, it can be done because of the size of that food item, and again your oyster eggs too. So backing up a little bit, the larval fish would be able to eat those items, and then you're later on maybe. A week later in life, or you're getting near post-larval fish, they would start eating your Cyclops or baby brine, Artemia, and so forth. So then, and it kind of works its way up. The Arctic Easy Pods are a little bit bigger, but there's also blended foods that we make. The coral food, for example.
What's in the coral food?
What's in it?
Yeah.
It's a blend of like 3 different zooplankton and 3 different phytoplankton to make it simple. And then we also add a full complement of vitamins, amino acids, and supplements. And so it already contains the rotifers and the Cyclops and one other type of zooplankton. And then the phytoplankton wise, we have spirulina, and we have Nanochloropsis and Tetraselmis. So it's a variety of a lot of the best things all put into one food. And frankly, coral foods in general tend to be extremely expensive. And I've always said for the past 20 years that our frozen coral food, which maybe would retail for $7, I think is one of the best.
Yeah, it's not so expensive when compared to the other brand and the dry food from that. No, I think it's a good price. 7 to 10. It's not something crazy for feeding corals. So for feeding corals, the best is I think, in my opinion, what I see, it's Easy Pods and with caviar. So
Thank you. So the coral food, I think, is like an unsung hero of the coral industry. I mean, because it's really, really a well balanced, full spectrum type of food and not expensive.
Yeah.
There you go.
If people have some question, don't hesitate to put your question. Now we will maybe do a question and answer with you, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
So will be very interesting to see what we can go and what the people want to know. So let's do it. So if people have some question, you need to be on the V2O web page or YouTube web page. I know I do a reminder, but if we want to see your questions. So everybody, if you have some question, it's time. Chris Turk is here. Chris Turk is the CEO of V2O Foods, based on what kind of, it's on Utah. So let's go. Post your question. Give me your question, and we were asking you maybe post question about Easy Pods and Reef Caviar, because the trivia will be on this post. So please do it, so we can do it. So let's go. We're waiting for your questions. Janet, can you take some? Okay.
Sure. Let's talk about if any of you out there are service companies, maintenance companies. We have V2O Foods has some really interesting products that are kind of combos. Maybe you can talk about that, Chris.
Yes, I'd be very happy to. Because that's a kind of a sector of the industry that's is very interesting, and I think growing and growing. I mean, there's every city I go to, I see more and more of the service companies, and they're not just servicing. They usually create the aquarium itself and install it, and and build it, and then they maintain it. So I think it's I think it's a critical part of the industry. Here in Las Vegas, we don't have much ocean around here. And so you wouldn't. Perhaps you wouldn't think this is like a great mecca for aquariums, but we have many very large, beautiful aquariums. First of all, in the casinos, but secondly, in people's homes or offices. Dental offices and lawyers and so forth. So it's a big business, and so you have, that's the same in any city. You have people, especially people that have the money to afford these large aquariums and to afford somebody to come in once a week and take care of it. But we have found that this type of customer really loves our variety packs. We have we call it Pro Variety, and then we have them separated based on size of food, the food particles, and which means based on what size of fish you're going to feed it to. So the Pro Variety Small is basically meant for reef tanks or fish up, let's say, up to 3-4 inches. But most of your reef tanks have smaller fish like this. So that variety, that includes everything we make that's for that's small size. So that includes rotifers, and includes the cyclops, the coral food, even mysis shrimp, and the reef caviar, the Arctic Easy Pods. And we also put the Fish and Reef #1 in there, small cubes of it, and Fish and Reef #2. So what you have is a bag of like many different colors, and it's very attractive looking, and it has has all these. It covers all the bases with all these different products in it. And we make those in a 1 pound, and it's a Ziploc vacuum packed. And we also make it in a 2 pound. Ziploc vacuum pack. So again, once the seal is broken and you break the vacuum, then you have a bag of many different color cubes. So
a
that's
bunch of cubes. Yeah.
yeah. So that's for the small size. And then we have the same thing made for bigger fish. So we intended for fish like fish only tanks usually, or fish that are 3 inches or bigger. And again, it's like 8 or 9 different items, but these are items that tend toward the larger size. And so it doesn't include rotifers or reef caviar, copepods. But it does include the meaty things like clams and mussels and krill, like both types of krill. The krill pacifica, which is a smaller one, and the krill superba, and it includes chopped mussels and shrimp and squid and so forth. So it's more of a meaty. That one's more of a meatier mix. And it doesn't, again, it includes the fish and reef number 1 and fish and reef number 2. But in this case, the cubes are bigger. The one for small fish are like 1/2 inch cubes, and these other one for large fish are more like 3/4 to 1 inch cubes. So, and we sell a lot of them to service companies, and the truth is we only have a handful of service companies that we sell to directly, and they buy tons, and we also get that product through distributors to service companies, especially in the Los Angeles area. But we sell a lot of it for that type for service companies, and I would really like to focus on that and see that, or spend more time on that and talk to service companies all over the country, because it's a great product for them.
I know a lot of the public aquariums use it also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, for their big reefs.
Yeah, and it's convenient. It's got everything in one bag, and it covers all the bases. And it looks cool because it has all these different variety of products inside.
Yeah, very good.
Okay. What other questions do we have?
We don't have too much questions. I try to track all the questions from everywhere. So people are already good in question. Maybe we can start. Do we have a list of people we know carrying our product right now here in the East Coast, and some people?
Let's see, the East Coast, we just started with you guys.
Yes.
And you now have the product in stock, sitting right there in your warehouse.
Yes, I can show.
Here. There we go. Yeah.
There we go. We have a lot of ready to go.
It just came in, and it's ready to go. And so that's a whole new ball game for us. And now we've been selling to, in South Florida, we sell through Gulfstream Tropical Distributor. So that means a lot of stores, Southern Florida, have our products already and have had for many, many years. But there are very few stores actually, starting from Orlando and going all the way up the East Coast. But won't be that way now that we have you. But we do sell to one store called Absolutely Fish up near New York City. But he's on the he's on the New Jersey side, and
yes.
he sells a ton of our food. So that's just the beginning, and we expect to have maybe by the end of this year we should have hundreds of stores with our product, because now the logistics have been solved.
Okay.
Also, if we're talking if we're talking to end users, they can buy at Aquarium Partners.
Yes, they can go
If they
direct.
want to buy online. I know Marine Depot sells online. Who else sells online, Chris?
We don't. We sell to Marine Depot and
Right.
directly. There's others online, I think, sell our product, but they buy through distributors, so we don't really know who they are. But if the only one that we sell directly to is Marine Depot and yourselves at Aquarium Partners. We're working on others. You know, we want to. You know, we want everybody to be able to get the product, and that's one. You know, that's one way in which the online people can really help you. You know, if you're a customer in an area where stores don't have the food, then, you know, the online sellers are the ones that can be there for you.
Perfect. I'm very glad. So maybe time to make the trivia. What do you think, Janet? It's about 40.
Sure.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you.
We lost you again, Francois.
You lost me again?
Yeah, your mic's fading. Come back.
I'm calm. And maybe we make also an announcement at the end of the live about coupon code for Aquariumpartners. So yeah, we can do something. Yeah. Let's go for the trivia. Let me think 2 seconds and we're ready. So let's go. So the question today is 2 questions. You can win about 1 year worth of product, and maybe also, let's see, set. We can also.
I think that Chris should answer the questions.
Chris will. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this. By the way, the assortment you're showing right here, these are, you know, as it says, these are all the products that are really good for corals and inverts. Yeah.
Yeah, all this product, I pick it up some product. I think the best of the best in the industry, and oyster eggs is very interesting. Reef caviars, Arctic easy pods, and cyclops, very, very interesting for reef. But if people want something like for another style, like something
for
fish only,
bigger fish,
or bigger fish, we can adjust the price. Don't worry about that. Just play and
you can adjust the assortment to, I guess it's up to you guys, but you can pretty much mix and match whatever the customer wants.
Yes, I think one customer really want to win because he paused 2 times. So I think he will want the price. So let's go for up. First question. First question is about reef caviar. So this is the question. Please, if you want to answer on the V2O page or the YouTube channel Aquarium Partners. Post your answer and we'll pick it up randomly, all the answer. Hashtag Trivia Tuesday and your answer. So we can make everything on. And so the question will be here. Yes. So we're waiting a little bit. Can you talk about the reef caviar a little bit? Maybe the answer will be in the talking. And if people listen, they will have their answer. So let's go.
Yeah. So again, reef caviar, we just happened to we discovered this product because it was these fish eggs were already being harvested for another industry, which is the sushi restaurant industry. And So as I said, they harvest, millions, thousands of tons of them. But that's a whole different process where they salt, they put seasoning, salt, different colors, food colors, to make them come out orange or green.
So they call these are either Tobiko or Masago, right?
Exactly.
They call these
I'm
flying
glad
fish
you asked
roe?
that, because they're not Tobiko. Tobiko is flying fish eggs.
Ah, okay. Excellent.
But Masago, that's what they are. They're Masago.
They're Masago, okay.
And a lot of people go into the Asian restaurants and they buy Masago and feed it to their fish. And I think there may be companies that even package it and sell it. But ours is much better, frankly, because it's not seasoned and it doesn't have dyes in it.
Or preservatives.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure it's good for your fish to eat a lot of salt like that.
Yeah.
So this is we just do it the natural way, and it's the real color, and great stuff. And yes, it's from Iceland. Comes from Iceland, and the breeding season is late winter, so the water's like freezing cold and super clear. So it couldn't be a more fresh product.
Yeah, and seasonal. It's seasonal, so you can just have a few times in a year.
Oh yeah. You can only get them at that time. I think by April it's done, and you can't get them anymore. I mean, so we have to stock up.
Yeah, and I'm sure we have a lot of stock. That here we have a few, maybe 10 cases here, so
good.
We can push back this product. So let's go for the second question. We say Arctic Cis. So this is the second question. Don't tell the answer so fast, but let's talking about Arctic Easy.
So where are these the Arctic Easy Pods? Where are they harvested?
Basically, they're from the North Sea. They come from or North Atlantic, but northern to Arctic waters. Our product comes from the Atlantic, or North Sea, and perhaps you can get a similar species if you went to the other side, like the Russia side. But yeah, so these are called Calanus, which is actually the genus, and the species that we use is Calanus finmarchicus, and but most people just know it by Calanus because there are other producers that sell it as Calanus, and it's it's a calanoid type of copepod, which means it flicks around in the water with the two antennae, and they're
that's a cool thing. So that's gonna interesting.
Yeah. So it looks a lot like the little plankton guy in SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, I forget what his name is. Maybe it's Plankton.
Plankton. That's his name.
Yeah, Plankton. And can we use the feeders to use it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you think the target feedings is the best?
So you can target feed, using the feeders. You take the product, a cube or a chunk of the product, and you mix it with water so it's suspended, and then you suck it up with the coral feeder, and you can target feed whoever you want to, or you can
mix it with tank water, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, we always recommend you take the tank water and use that to mix it, and you can also broadcast feed it, of course. And if you have a good current in your tank, you can just put the frozen cubes right in the tank, and they'll circulate. They'll go around and around and slowly melt and feed everybody. But the most popular method is, as Francois says, is using the coral feeder and mix and melt the product in tank water and then suck it up and target feed it. Jordan, in SpongeBob SquarePants, what's the plankton guy's name? His name is Plankton? Okay.
He doesn't have a real name.
All these things. So, yeah, please post your answer, and we will in 2 minutes now pick 2 winners. So.
Jordan, if I'm looking at the screen, I look this way, but in order to look at the camera, I have to look up this way. So the most looking at the same place.
No. Unless you have a cam built
So
in.
Francois, we lost you.
We lost you. Every time I move something, maybe it come from my mic. So I don't know. I'm here. So now we need to pick it up some. Yeah, we have 3 answers maybe. Yeah. Iceland and VMO, you need to ask another question to be on the trivia. So we have few questions. I show all this answer. So yeah, we have few different things. So I hope you are in the US, so it will be more easy to ship you some product. I know some French guy look at the videos from my personal Facebook page, and so let's see that. So Janet, do you want to pick it up some people?
No. You get to pick.
I have the pick. Okay. So
Janet, I love your background, by the way.
I'm in Vegas, baby.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, it's a very great picture.
And
so let's see what we are.
Las Vegas still looks like that. Like the lights are on, but there's nobody home.
But nobody's home.
Yeah. Okay.
So I make just a few burners to make an announcement about a special discount. So
Francois.
Yes.
First, why don't you talk about Trivia Tuesday? What we're doing here? We're going to be doing this every week.
So yes, Trivia Tuesday is something you push on my mind. So every Tuesday at 6 p.m. most of the time, and sometime we will go for noon because we have some guests coming from Europe, and as you know, it's
exciting.
Yes, it's 6 hour delay. So if we want the people to be there at noon East Coast time, there will be 6 p.m., 7 p.m. for them in Europe. So if you want to be at 6 p.m. for us, it will be 10 to 11 p.m. So it's a little bit late for people coming from the Europe. So next week, we go with Nicola Gandini, my partners and shareholders with me with ELOS in Europe, and we will introduce new product for ELOS. And
we're going to introduce new product?
Yeah, I have some new surprise, and we can talk about new things. Today we introduced a new product in the East Coast, was the V2O, and I think we can do the same with ELOS. And
so we're going to do a contest then too?
We can do that, a contest too. Every Tuesday we'll make a contest, we'll pick it up 2 winners. So that's very interesting.
I need to have a new tank in my house, so I'm gonna join in on that.
Oh yeah, look, some people are very interested about that. Some people took on French and give me some advice, and they said, "I give you $1,000 and I need to win the prize." So I say, "Okay."
They're gonna bribe you,
Yeah, a little bit, but it's very interesting. And in 3 weeks, we have Prodibio coming. Ramin, and maybe some scientists and tech from the company. So we have schedules for the next week, I think, something like that.
And we'll certainly have Chris back on.
For sure,
Okay.
we have Chris
Thank you.
back on in a few days, few weeks. Now we need to. He's very kind and he know how to work with his computer and his camera. So now we can make a lot of lives. Next time maybe we push more the Aquariumpartners page, and yeah, it was very interesting. 1 hour. This will be recorded on the. It will be replay on the V2O Facebook page, and it will be also on the Aquarium Partner YouTube channel. So if you want to see back when you have time and when you see it, you can go to see on YouTube
Good.
and aquariumpartner.com. You can go on Facebook V2O Aquariums and YouTube Aquarium Partners. Every week on Monday, we will put the questions, maybe live, maybe on the post. Let's see what's we going. Some questions, some very big prizes. This year's it's 1 year of food. It's crazy, no? I love it. So yeah,
Crazy.
1 year. Yeah, I want to win. Maybe can I play?
So,
Gamble?
So I have a question. If somebody has a very large tank and maybe a year's supply for them is 100 pounds. So
Yeah, the lot the price is about 12 packages, so one package a month. So if you have a tank like 1,000 gallon, maybe we need to discuss a little bit. We can give you a little bit more, but the lot is about 12 packages, reef related or fish related. You just need to ask. If you win, you just send me a DM at François Neo on Facebook page, or you can go DM directly on the V2O Facebook page, and I will take with you and see what's coming on. So
very good, very good.
It will be very, very interesting. So let's see. Let's pick up some people for the first question. So the first question was about, let me remind, reef caviar and where they are harvested. So the guy we win will be.
You probably have a lot of people with the same answer, with the correct answer.
Yes, that's the most
we
important.
Hope so.
We hope so. So I think the winner for the first lot is Tony Berry. Not from Ireland, but Tony, if you look at the videos at the end, please send me a DM on my Facebook account, François Neo.
Francois, we lost your video again.
We lost my video.
Audio.
Or your sound, not your video, your sound, sorry.
Is that the correct spelling of his name?
Yeah.
Bree. Tony Bree.
Tony Bree. He puts this. I will maybe send a text on a DM directly on YouTube to see if he won a loss. So the second one is Iceland. I have few different answers. So the second one will be, let me try again. I think we can. Mael, you want to win, but it will be very complicated for you to have the product in France right now. So I will send you some product, but not frozen food, because it will be complicated to send you frozen food directly in France. But I can send you something else. Don't worry about that. I have a good question since I've picked the second one winner. I have this question from Mael. I want to know if we have a sexy food for sexy shrimps. You know what the sexy shrimps is? It's small shrimps going on the corals. So
well, yeah, we have. Well, of course, there's so many things in frozen that would be appropriate. Anything that floats around the aquarium, so it would become available to the shrimps. Especially, I would say things like our marine fusion and our spirulina brine shrimp mysis. These are mixture type foods with lots of seafoods and seaweed, and chopped up in not really small pieces, but there's always some very small pieces in the mix. So those float around, and your shrimps will be really happy. And we also, with the dry foods that we make, like this guy right here, this is a soft and moist pellet for fish, and it's a sinking pellet, and it's very, very flavorful. And these are 1.2 millimeter.
This one?
Yeah. So that's the bigger size pellet. That's the 2.4 millimeter. So this one, I'll see if I can.
I see the new vision also. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And so these guys,
we have this.
That too, but that one's more finely ground. So it's intended really for SPS corals, but it's a mixture of 8 different things. So there's some stuff in there for everybody. But if you can see the pellets, so these little guys, they sink readily. So you could either use the target feeder that you showed, the coral feeder, or even your fingers. You can drop it on top. If you have shrimp, hanging out on a certain coral, just direct it in that direction, and they sink readily. So of course the current might take it away, but if you have a target feeder, you can direct it right to the correct spot, and your any shrimp will go nuts in that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. I picked up the second winner, and it's this guy, but the answer was love me, and everything's on it. So I picked this one, and he have a question on have any of the food been tried by the member people?
Yes. As a matter of fact,
the reef caviar will be the best, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. When we had our store, we used to train. We'd get in mandarins, and we would train them to eat frozen foods using the reef caviar.
Yeah,
very good.
Exactly what I
yeah, we hear it over and over again that my mandarins love your reef caviar. So yes, that's the one to go to.
Perfect. So
in fact, we have a mandarin in the label, if you see there. So that was not by accident.
So it was a good day. So right now for 2 days on Aquariumpartner.com, this one, because a lot of people see the videos, and a lot of people see the videos, we make a flash sales by just 2 days. So you need to
okay. So if they go on V2O or on.
Yes, on Aquarium Partner, on V2O Aquarium Partner, we'll make a 10% discount for people and also for shops. So don't worry about that. If you are a shop, you need to make an account with us, and we will agree, and you can have 10% discount also if you are a retailer. And if you are an end user and you want to buy direct from us or direct from your shop, just go to your shop asking for V2O, and we can make it happen. So right now the coupon code is V2O10 on Aquarium Partners for only 2 days. So it begins now, and it will finish on. What's the answer? You don't have the answer. So
Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. You see. You follow. Okay. So Thursday will be finished. So you have 2 days, and V2O10 will be the coupon code to buy V2O food, and maybe some kind of different food if you go, because I think we can make a coupon for everything. It's not just for this. So it's time for you. It's just 2 days. So let's do that. So V2O.
Very good.
So perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, VMT. You VMO ID. You need to contact me for your price. And thank you for who are the guy who won the first? Tony. And Tony, you need to call me back too to have a price. And if nobody call me, I will eat it. So yeah, I will eat everything. So.
Oh, snacks for all.
Snacks for all. But before leaving, I have just the last product nobody's talking about.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, this is dry food, brown and green seaweed. So can you little bit talk about that, Chris?
Yes. So these are nori type of seaweeds. And these are, of course, it's a dried product that the Japanese and other Asian countries produce for sushi and sushi rolls and for many other uses in food. And so actually the brown one, if the truth be told, the brown one is like these are seaweed. I think it's Pyphora, not Pyphora, something like that. But it's like a seaweed, and it's dried. They lay it out on nets and sun dry it, and it kind of sticks together with itself because of all the it's kind of a stickiness to begin with. But and then they make it into sheets and they cut it, into these squares. And then I saw this being done one time in a factory, but the fresh product comes in and it's actually brown. It's it's dried and it's all stuck together on its own, but it's brown. And then they have basically a conveyor belt that they process it through to cook it, to toast it. So the green product has actually been toasted, and it happens very quickly, maybe 5 seconds or not long duration at all. And it comes out the other end, and it's green, and it holds together much better. So the green product is the one that's. And it looks more natural because it's green, and people say, oh, it's algae, so it must be green. And it's very popular, and it's probably the most functional because it does hold together better. But the brown product is, you could say, a little bit more fresh, but it will break apart faster. So you need to have well-trained fish that are accustomed to eating seaweed. Because once they start chewing on it, it'll break into pieces. So they have to, you want them to eat it quickly.
So perfect, Chris. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time with us. I hope you enjoy it. It's very interesting. We know better your product. I like it. It's time to leave now. It's about 1 hour. It will be very, very interesting. I enjoy all the time. Thank you for being with us.
I do have one question before you sign off.
Okay.
Before we sign off. So Janet, is Kurt ready to post the website, the new website? Like, can people go to it right now or tomorrow, or what do you think?
I think by midnight tonight, it'll probably be ready to go.
Okay.
So we have an announcement. So
please go to the V2OFoods.com website, and especially go tomorrow. If you go today, and many of you out there know already if you've tried, like our website is many pages long. It's full of information, and like every product has its own page, but there's a mistake in the landing page, in the home page. So when you go to the home page, you will see a lady lying on a bed, and somehow that It's an advertisement for web design that got stuck in there. So the trick is you have to scroll down past that, and then the rest of the website is fine. But we have fixed that now with the genius of Janet's husband, and he's a very good web designer. And
Yes.
he, I think, as of, do you see something sneaking into the bottom corner of the screen? Must be a 9-year-old. So the new website is beautiful, and I'm excited about it, and it's gonna be ready probably by tomorrow morning. So please check it out. And
Unfortunately, the lady will leave, but there's a bunch of really cool information. It should be fairly easy. Remember, we're still kind of a work in progress, so we'll be adding to it, and but there's some great information, not only on your products, Chris, but also on how to feed fish and a couple of other cool things. So please check it out.
Yeah, and I can spoil something because I saw everything and I know exactly how it looks. And it's kind of very, very different from the website already on. So we like it. I like it. It's very genius, a lot of beautiful picture, and you know exactly how to feed your tank, how to feed the sharks and carnivores. So yeah, I think it's very, very interesting. So let's go, let's check out V2O food, aquarium food. I make a mistake maybe on the name. It's V2O aquarium. I invert, so aquariumfood.com.
Yeah,
I think it's
actually
V2OFoods.com.
Yeah, it's more simple. It's just V2OFoods.com.
V2O.
Foods with an S. V2O.
Yeah, foods with an S.
No.
Let's see. Wait.
What is this thing? So and it's also on V2O is not zero. A lot of people think it's zero. It's V2O like Oscar. Foods.com.
So do it's better like this? V2O
no, it has an S. V2O food.
Okay,
S.
foods.
V2OFoods.com.
This French guy do so many mistakes.
Yeah, so
I will be firing. So I can come tomorrow maybe. Here we go.
This is correct.
There you go.
There we go. Oh, the French guy, always the same. So I hope you enjoy my accent. So
yeah, and also a shout out to again, it's Janet's husband Kurt. He's a great web designer. So if you need a website, you better call him.
No, you call me. No. You call me. You call me first because I'm the guy.
Oh, you're the agent. Maybe.
Yeah. If you do nothing without me, so
okay.
No, it's not possible. You want to earn with Kurt? Yes, Oni, I am the guy. So no problem. So thank you, Chris. I will finish all this, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everything.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for helping me to get our name out there in the public eye, and we got great places to go to.
Perfect. Thank you. See you soon. See you soon, everybody. Join us right here every Tuesday. Stay online, Chris. We will come together after that to debrief. So everybody, oops. I move. So everybody, thank you. Join us every Tuesday for Trivia Tuesday. Next Tuesday will be at noon, so mid-time. And see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Chris. Bye-bye, Janet. And let's go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Francois. And we will talk to you very, very soon. So we should sign